And so, how about how did you get started then in this whole networking thing and in business IoD and et cetera, et cetera?
Well, rather randomly, I didn't do particularly great in my A levels. So at the moment we've just had A level results out, and I think today GCSE results are coming out, and the results are great and it's going really well. But I didn't come out with sort of 3 straight A's at A level, and God knows how many straight A pluses at GCSE level. And then I went on to do marine biology and environmental science at university. So again, not your sort of traditional way into it. I started off by basically doing a type of apprenticeship internship at the CBI, Confederation of British Industry. I ended up working there for around 4 years, and then I went on to the IOD. I had a very good boss at the IOD. I still do have a very good boss at the IOD, and I've had a number of mentors around me, which have ensured that I've been able to mould a role round the area I enjoy and still show impact and value for the organisation I work for.
That's interesting. So do you think you represent in a way a shift in terms of what an entrepreneur typically is seen as being? Because you, like you say, you come from a background whereby it doesn't lend itself naturally to an entrepreneur's progression. Have you seen a shift in that kind of perception?
Sorry, in exactly what sort of...
Are there now more than ever? I mean, part of the ID, you must see a lot of entrepreneurs. Are they all from very, very different backgrounds, or do they have...
hugely. Absolutely. I mean, the sort of areas we're seeing in the IOD at the moment, the sort of new business growth, the high technology, green technology areas are really growing in the UK. It's really taking off in the UK. We really need to support them. It is crucial that we support these young people, because you see it in your area. You have a fantastic idea. You get a business started up, but what is not focused on, I feel, enough in the UK is looking at the quite serious issue in failure rates of new businesses over 12 to 18 months. And an issue whereby the area we've seen that has been changed within the idea is we're getting younger members joining who are very proactive. They want real engagement. They want to do things differently. It needs to be more online, a lot more virtual working, flexible working. Also the fact that a lot of members, both within the IOD and small businesses, new business startups outside of the IOD, are starting up, and their first client could be an international business, or it could be an international reseller or something like this. So it isn't a sort of traditional philosophy that international businesses, the only companies that do international businesses are ones that are in towers of steel and glass and all the rest of it. It can be a person with a laptop in their bedroom, kind of thing, in relation to the way they do business. So the IDs had to be very reactive, and we've been very proactive in relation to our engagement with these new businesses, trying to fulfill their needs and their wants, providing networking opportunities both online and offline. We've got a big IOD members only group on LinkedIn. I think we've got about 4,000 or 5,000 members signed up to that. We've got quite a big Twitter following. We're trying to do more in this area. We've got to operate in this area. It's what businesses need, and it's where businesses are going forward. But just coming on to the area I sort of touched on, it's sort of a long-winded answer really, of what business really needs. The area where it hasn't really changed but isn't really focused on enough is real support for businesses in their first sort of few stages of growth, i.e. how do you employ your first member of staff? How do you create a board? How do you recruit a director? How do you do your accounts? How do you pull together all the sort of information, the board minutes, etc.? It isn't focused on enough in the UK. We hear a lot of talk about the sort of excitement of being an entrepreneur. You can be the next Richard Branson, you can be the next Bill Gates. Yeah. It is tough. It is really tough. And a lot of entrepreneurs have a fantastic idea, but they need real help in relation to the day-to-day business running, business practices, legality of running a business as well. That, in turn, will reduce the failure rate for them.
Okay, so what do you suggest to those entrepreneurs who are kind of being bamboozled by this, you can be the next Richard Branson, what have you? What's the next step for them? Is it just learning that information? How do they get that information?
I mean, there are a number of options. Obviously, I would turn around and say join the IOD.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot of information on that area, but this isn't a sales pitch or anything like this. You'll hear a lot of people turn around and say get a mentor.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good idea. But it isn't easy getting a mentor. A mentor process, the mentor and the mentee, it's got to be an equal process. It should be equal learning. It should be mutually beneficial. It can't just be something of go up and ask someone on the street. But if you find the right mentor in business, they will be able to tell you what you need to think in relation to starting a business, what you need to think about your legalities, your sort of liabilities associated with it, all that sort of area. Crucially, you'll also get someone who can hopefully, judge a number of different awards, and I take part in the judging process for Business in the Community. I've done some Shell Livewire stuff and National Business Awards and also the ID Awards. But when you're looking at people who are pitching for money in relation to an award, it is amazing when you break down their finances and you look at, well, why do you want £50,000? And you look through it and it's like, well, £30,000 in an office space or £15,000 in an office space. You're like, well, why do you need that? Is this something that you can run virtually? And this is something that a mentor will be able to tell you. Will be able to sit back who's been there and done it. Other things is not just necessarily about having a direct mentor, but peer-to-peer mentoring. Talk with people who are going through the same situation that you are. The readership of your magazine. A lot of people who are starting up businesses, both in the early stage and sort of secondary and third stages of starting up a business. Talk to them. They're going through the process. They've just been through it. They'll be very candid about it. It sort of comes back to that network. Go to different events. Go to IOD events. Go to other organisations' events around the whole of the UK. There are tons of them, absolutely tons of them.
The Business Startup Show.
Yeah, exactly, Business Startup Show and things like this. Yeah. Go to those events, talk to people, and be quite candid about it. You know, it's sort of, I'm quite a big believer in the sort of Entrepreneurs Anonymous type thing, where you sit around a table with a group of friends or a group of other people who are going through the same situation and go, cards on the table, don't think any less of me, but these are the issues I'm having. Yeah. Quite a lot of it is, I'm lonely, I don't understand about finances, I've got this person who's promising me the earth, are they going to deliver? People can just sort of peer-to-peer, group peer-to-peer mentoring, I think could be is a huge benefit for people who are starting to go through the starting up a business process.
Great, well that's an amazing tip to end on, so we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Alex.
No problem.
Cheers.
Thanks very much, Mark.
Okay.